I don't think I'm hooked up. I am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to the City of Eureka Springs Cemetery Commission meeting. This is Monday, May the 19th. It's 4 o'clock, and we're meeting at the City Auditorium. We'll have a call to order right now.
L.B. Wilson.
You got to go right up to the mic.
L.B. Wilson.
Brita Rickfa.
Ratha Lawler.
David Danvers, and we do have a quorum. Next order of business, let's take a look at the minutes from April the 21st in your packet in front of you. By the way, I want to welcome those that have decided to join us sitting out here, and those that are watching us on YouTube, thanks for coming, and consider becoming more involved with us. We appreciate it, don't we, commissioners?
Absolutely.
There you go. Excuse me. Let's move on to the meeting minutes.
At this time, Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for April 21st.
Well, on April all righty. And do I have a second?
You do, sir. I will second.
And all in favor? Aye. Thank you. That is approved unanimously. Okay. Do we have any public comments?
Approval of agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do that every month. We've got to approve the agenda for this month, and let's carefully go over that. We may need to add an item or two.
May I suggest that on unfinished business that we add additional signage, the topic for additional signage in the cemetery, to additional signage to the cemetery sign project?
Yes. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
And all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Then also on new business, I would like to add city safety program.
A safety program, LB?
City safety program, yes, sir. And the encroachment issue with the metal containers in the northeast corner of our property.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
And then,
just a moment.
okay,
The city safety issues.
program, yeah. I just wanted to let you all in on what the new city safety program.
Yeah,
And the
okay.
encroachment issue, metal containers on the northeast corner of the property.
That actually is unfinished business. Why don't we move that on up and work on that today? Is that fair?
Where is it an unfinished business?
About 6 months ago.
Okay, that's
8
fine.
months ago. And
That's fine.
yeah, and we
then,
were assured it was going
have-
to be tended to.
That's fine. I have two more items. One is a portable potty purchase, porta potty purchase to discuss. And then a discussion regarding the sale of individual cremation vaults. I can't believe I left that one.
You said the sale of individual
The sale of individual cremation vaults.
cremation vaults.
And then the very last one is a flag policy / social issue. Did we put down?
I've got
social?
that. Yeah,
Okay,
I've
we've
got
got that. All right, great. My bad. I didn't see that. That's it, if we may.
Okay, I think we've got that noted. Would someone like to recap that, and we'll vote on it? I can recap it.
Actually, this is the first time it's been introduced to my knowledge.
Yeah. So let me just.
And it is down there under new business, number one, I think. I didn't see it.
Yeah. So we're going to add additional signage to the current business. To current business, we'll also add the encroachment issue. Then for new business, the city safety issues, porta potty, the sale of individual cremation vaults.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I
Thank you.
have a
Please
second
consider.
on that? I have a second on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll second.
Okay. And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, LB. Appreciate that.
Thank you all.
So now we've added that. So let's approve this amended agenda. All in
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Done. Now we'll move to the public comments. Do I see a hand out there?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. Next week, next time. Okay. All right. We'll move right along. Thank you. Let's go into the reports, the head groundskeeper report.
Groundskeeper?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Besides just the general groundskeeping chores of mowing and weed trimming and so forth, we planted 5 dogwoods. There's been a concrete drainage barrier built for the holding tank. I think that was our problem with the holding tank. It was being flooded by rainwater. We have also started and made every attempt that I'm aware of to comply with the city safety program.
LB, may I make a comment on that retaining wall? I would like to encourage you all to see it if you haven't. That was an excellent job.
Oh.
And our head groundskeeper put that thing up, he told me, like in one day. These are concrete, a nice concrete L-shaped wall. Going to be very effective into the future. I was very impressed with that. Just wanted to say
Yeah,
thanks.
sure. Overall, they have been, the groundskeeping has been keeping up and doing a pretty good job, I think. Kind of in the mix of all this, because we got, I do need to discuss with regarding the employee situation. We have a couple issues that you all need to be made aware of, and it won't take very long. Could I request
Executive session at this time,
an executive session briefly to discuss those?
please.
Or do you want to wait a little later?
I'm fine with it right
He's
now.
left his post, so I don't know where our,
Okay, we'll keep going.
Okay,
We'll
I
loop
can
back.
give you, I can say this. We hired a new individual. The individual's no longer with us. I have a new application. I contacted them today. So we need to discuss a little bit those two topics. And we can do that anytime, but let's don't forget, because I need to get y'all's approval.
Okay, we'll circle back then.
when he comes
When he,
back.
when he comes back, when Dave
Okay.
comes back. Thank you, LB. That's
If you want to, I provided you all a packet. It has the superintendent's log, which is a brief rundown of some of the things that we've been doing. There are some other topics that's related to what I could say now,
back now.
but they'll come up a little bit later. Also provided you with that monthly report for hours and expenditures. To this point, this month in May, we spent $607.93 out of a budgeted amount of $1,326. So we're okay as far as hardware and maintenance goes. That's it.
Do you want to,
Let's do it and get it over with.
okay. Dave, we'd like to go into an executive session unrecorded, and this should just take a few minutes. So do we need a motion and a,
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
okay, do I have a, okay, and all in favor? Aye, okay. Thank you. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. All righty, thank you. And we're back now from our executive session. And in summary, we've decided to offer a position to another groundskeeper. Okay. And LB, should we continue on with your superintendent's report?
The only other thing I'd like to make note of for folks in the TV land out there is we have a road project right now ongoing and are hoping to receive some donations, which we have to this date received $0 toward this project. If anyone out there would like to see the cemetery roads in a little better condition, especially you dog walkers and people that use the cemetery every day, maybe you got some IRS money back or whatever, and might be a good time to think about helping us out on this road project, because the roads are deteriorating and we want to put them in a condition that future tree growth and root growth can be minimized, or the damage can be minimized, and have a better surface to drive and walk on. That's all I have.
Yeah, thank you, LB, for bringing up the subject of our wonderful citizens who, a lot of you have a daily routine. You come out to the cemetery at certain times of day to enjoy it. A lot of you walk your dogs. We definitely welcome that pet aspect. We have dogs, dually stations out there for your bags. We have garbage cans and things. We would encourage it. But those of you, as LB said, that are using this beautiful historic cemetery, we would like for you to consider contributing. You know, we have the cash donation box that's out there near the front entrance, but help sponsor one of the projects. LB, thank you very much. We'll have more information about that coming out. Appreciate that.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Treasurer report.
Was that it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you want to comment about the Sexton office manager? I did include the report is in that other packet right there.
Well, one of the things that's been somewhat discouraging, I don't know what the circumstances are, I guess it's just part of life or the lack of life, is we're not selling very many burial plots at all.
Pardon me?
We're not selling very many burial plots at all. We're behind our budget with regards to that. So if any folks have future plans, why, we'd like to encourage them to consider our cemetery. I didn't take time to look at that.
It's pretty extensive.
We have,
Well written.
other than that, it's just, I was out the other day, we do have one situation where we had a stone brought out that was placed on a burial plot, and there was no notice given to me as to when and where. I got the permanent fixture form and initially approved it, and then I took my copy home with me and I got to looking, and there was nothing that indicated in the request about the foundation. It's a huge rock. So I contacted our office manager, and she had already contacted the individual and said it was approved. So I had to recontact this individual, which I'd already contacted once before, and she hadn't returned my call. So I called and left a message and text her at the same time. So next day I get a call back. So there's a little bit of mix-up about this. We give folks a packet with all the information necessary to make any kind of permanent fixture requests about headstones and so forth. And if it has in there, it's inclusive as to the requirements for a foundation. We're trying to eliminate as much maintenance in the future as possible. That was overlooked. That wasn't seen. Evidently, this stone came from someplace other than a retail headstone monument company.
It's a rather large rock, right?
And what they did was they came out there and they put it on top of the ground, dug a little bit, not much. There's hardly anything, there's nothing under it. It's just stuck in the ground. So I had Kelly Monument was out there the other day doing some work on our family plot, as well as some others. And I said, look at this for me and get me a price of how much it would take to move this rock, put a proper foundation under it, and then put the rock back where it goes. I visited with her, and because she was told everything was approved, so there's a little culpability on everyone's part. I haven't got back with her because I wanted to, and I'm so glad you asked me one more time. We need a foundation under it, okay? If we're somewhat culpable for a mix-up in the communication, I'll take the responsibility. I think there's a responsibility also on the individual that made application, and she was there at the time that the stone was set. You can't just dig down on the ground about 6 inches and put a 5 or 6 or 7 or 800 pound stone there. Also, the stone did not have the individual's name and date of birth. That's required for all grave markers. And they should be on there when they are installed.
Right.
Not for the plaque to come later, because later it may be different. I mean, who knows what goes on between now and later. So that's also an error on the individual's part. So I'll make a suggestion and then you take it from there. I'll try to give you as much information as I can. I think I would like you all to let me contact her again, explain that sorry about the mix-up. We feel somewhat culpable about the misunderstanding as well. Do you realize we are going to have a foundation? It's going to cost around $200. How do you feel about your responsibility toward that amount, and go from there?
And that was the cost directly passed on from Kelly Monument?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It needs to be fixed. And to correct this situation, there will not be any communication by anyone about a permanent fixture approval unless they have in their hand a signed permanent fixture approval form. I did not sign anything.
Right.
And so that'll stop that getting back eager beaver, getting back quickly, kind of thing,
Yeah.
which is commendable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so I've tried to fix that. It's just that it didn't dawn on me at the time. I saw the size was okay. I believe it's somewhere around 3 to 4 feet high, over a foot thick, and at the base it's about 30 inches or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I thank you, LB, and I'm fine with what you just said.
Well, the bottom line is it may end up costing us the full amount.
Yeah, we should not be paying that. Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen.
Right.
But something needs to be done to correct. And it's like the monument people in the county and some outside the county have received this information. Kelly Monument called me the other day, and I had to go out and monitor a headstone and some cornerstones being put in. That's the way we need to do business. We don't need to have people just showing up and putting up structures.
That's right. Yeah. Can't do that. We have our rules and our regulations.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
I'll take care of it and report back to y'all.
Good deal. All right. Thank you, LB.
And it's the section of things, we have had some purchases and we have some that are possibilities. And as far as finding the plots and locating them properly, things have been going well.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank you also for working with her and being flexible on those Saturday hours where she's out to support the tour. She's been a great help for us.
Well,
we had a little, go ahead.
That's fine, but that can't continue.
Yeah, that's just what
Someone's
I was
going
saying.
to have to step up and figure out how to do that registration.
Yeah.
It is a possibility that we can maybe continue it the whole time this summer, first summer. But I'm also accommodating another situation where she's taking off, I believe it's going to be Thursdays, and then probably transition to taking off Mondays.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she's being accommodated in certain needs, and so is the tour.
Yeah.
Because we want that to be a
Yeah.
success, and so far everything's been going really well.
Great. Sure, and we'll work through that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. The treasurer's report. Okay. Flip in your packet here. Got some good news. So I met with Michael Aiken. He's the city comptroller, treasurer, with respect to the progress that we've made, and shared a few reports with him on QuickBooks and how that we are very confident in the bank balances that flow through, in the checks that we write, in the P&L that is attached here, and the balance sheet. I have a detailed balance sheet, which is real interesting. It's not copied here. It would need some big pieces of paper. But it's everything that backs up what's gone in and out and made each of the figures here. So I said all that to say that going forward, this summary of the checkbook, including credit cards, is really no longer needed. That we will be talking about the actual checkbook balances, which are reflected on that P&L, right, and balance sheet, not just this summary of the unbalanced checkbook opening and closing amounts. With respect to that conversation, I spoke to him about the quarterly report. You all got copies of the quarterly report that I just sent to Ida this past week, encompassing January, February, and March. He showed me an example in his book and his records of what the state is really looking at, and it's really how much money comes in and how much goes out. He said that the quarterly report that's been used, it's that Excel spreadsheet, and again, it's just based real similar to this. It's a checkbook opening. I don't know if you all have seen them. It's a floating month by month for the quarter of expense, income and expenses just right out of the checkbook. And he said that's sufficed in the past, but QuickBooks going forward will be just fine. And I shared with him these copies. So I think and I spoke to him then about going in and sharing that with Ida. He said that'd be fine. She just happened to have not been in the office. So I'll circle back with her, and I'll provide January, February, and March QuickBooks, P&L, and balance sheets. She and I'll talk about them. She can adjust her notebook and her reporting system that she's got, and then going forward for the second quarter, then we'll begin with all QuickBooks. And Michael even commented this is much easier and a much better way to do it, and a whole lot easier on the state audits, because at any point in time they can come in and double check. I don't know if you all remember when Patrick, the state auditor, came in and he punched in and then he reported that $19,000 or whatever it was that he didn't see off of that credit card balance from last year that Ladwig corrected. Well, that was just kind of an unauthorized intrusion at the time, which didn't really affect anything other than it was pointed out in an audit and we addressed it appropriately. Well, this will eliminate all of those types of things. So I think we've turned the corner now, finally, on a lot of this manual intervention that's been going on for 142 years, 145 years. So now we're really where we want to be with respect to this monthly treasury report and the quarterly report. Now, I can let's review what we've got here in this summary of expenses for the month. And you'll see again this month, I put the Ozark CNC, that was the final payment, for all of the signage at $62.81. Johnson's Automotive was that should be the last payment, LB, that on the truck, which included the new clutch.
Well, that's been quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Is this report inclusive of the expenses for May?
No, we're talking about the month of April today.
Okay, all right.
This monthly meeting is only a recap of the previous month from this financial perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we had the plot sales, the 839, and then $60 in the donations. Monthly difference, $7,500. And we've got, the reality is it's a little more than this $9,781. This is just an approximate out of that checkbook. That's why this is just not where it needs to be. If you want to look into the balance sheet, we've got a $14,340 balance at the end of the month. So,
May I ask a couple of questions?
yes,
First one is, these figures don't include that 1849 that's hung up.
okay, let's talk about that. Okay, when I put this together, I assumed that it did, and I got a call from our office manager this afternoon, and my assumption is it does include it, right? It just is not, it's not reflected. You know what, I can't even answer that question, because she said it was included in what Square Balance was reporting, but there was not a transfer into the bank. And for those of you, we had an earlier conversation in that we had discovered just today, after these were printed, that the link in QuickBooks showed the receipts, but there was not the transfer into that account, 8035.
So regardless of what the totals are for balances, the actual money, that should reflect from the bank, the actual monies in those accounts, right?
I think it should be more than this $1,400.
The 1849 is probably not
Correct, in the bank account.
In the bank.
Yeah, it could be reflected, though, in some of these other numbers in the balance sheet. So to address that, well, our bank account was locked out, and she thought she had tried, and Ladwig had tried a couple of times, so I was in touch with the bank later this afternoon, and we'll get that resolved. Because the issue is we do not need a debit card. I think I discussed that a month ago.
Don't need that.
Square was asking us for a debit card to attach all of the payments that we're receiving on credit card from the office for tours and plot sales and so on.
But you don't have to
But
have
we do not need that now. So we did get that issue resolved. Or today we'd be voting on a debit card, and LB had previously said we could do it in his name, but we're not going to need that.
Second question.
Yes.
How much are we going to be, if we're going to pay around $100 a month for QuickBooks, and are we still going to be paying the $225 to the CPA?
I want to transition off of that.
Okay. Because we're okay.
Definitely.
And the last question I have for you is, this has been a project of yours, and I commend you for trying to, as it's been said, bring us to the 21st century and have a more accurate accounting system. My concern is...
Would you say that louder into the mic? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I was teasing. Back off.
Oh, my concern is none of us are going to be on this commission forever.
Right.
people coming on the commission and those, we need to have a situation and from an operational standpoint, that people don't have to have the degree of expertise that you have. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because someone may not be able, if there's any way that as we work through this and get it refined, that we can make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
We need to encourage that because, it's like I say, you never know how long you're going to be here.
Yeah. And thank you for that. What I need to understand, we in our office manager, is what is the closing process at the end of the month, which has a lot to do with us not being able to meet earlier in the month because remember QuickBooks has to close out, so we chose the third Monday of the month. I need to see what is going on there because at that point in time is when this P&L and the balance sheet and any other reports we may want would need to be run. Because I always wait till the last minute, right, before the meetings and, ask for these, these current documents. So to wrap that up, we need to see what it takes to close the month, how we can do that internally, right? We will go ahead and update, we'll talk about, okay, I'm making an assumption. We're going to go ahead and update the additional $30 so we can get you the items budgeted according to the email that you saw earlier this past week. And then I think when that's done, it's just a matter of pushing the buttons and then seeing where we can minimize any interface with Ladwig and just phase that out.
Well, we need to do whatever, if we have to have a fee to get things set up properly, to transfer that $18.49 to our bank account,
Yeah.
Please, let's get it done.
Amen. Right. Okay. Now,
Because right now it's costing us $1,849, and it may cost us $150 to get it transferred. We're still ahead.
yeah. So what I'd like is your approval to go up one more notch in QuickBooks, which takes it from $69.95 to $99.95 a month, which will allow us to establish those 5 cost centers that are in a copy of the email that's attached in your booklet today.
Where is that on the bit?
It's the very last thing stapled. It's a copy of an email that I sent to Ladwig based on our feedback last week.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we upgrade the QuickBooks to the appropriate level so that we can get all of this stuff worked out.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, good. Thanks. Unanimous. We're moving along, and that does conclude the treasurer's report. We have special events. LB, would you like to talk about, at this point, our Decoration Day?
No, let's go with the first topic, the road improvement project.
Yeah, okay. So are we finished with our reports? Okay. All right, moving on to unfinished business. First item up, the road improvement project, which was including the parking areas that we all walked through.
Okay, so here's the deal. I've been working on this for a couple of years. Last year got the bid, and it was suggested that since we have someone identified as a project manager, that it be turned over to that project manager.
Are you talking about the senior project manager?
I'm talking about the emperor. And so I visited with Matt about this and wanted to get together with him rather than try to text and just leave copies of stuff
Right.
to bring him up to speed.
Yeah.
So he's out of town, won't be able to do it until later. But in thinking about this, we got to second guess ourselves sometimes. Out here at the cemetery, we have areas where we have graveled roads already, and we have areas where the pavement is bumpy and needs to be managed. We didn't think about the perspective that, well, how how many feet of road can we eliminate and have a particular area of the cemetery completely gravel, rather than going gravel, pavement, gravel, that kind of thing? We didn't talk about that. We kind of just said, well, you know, that's the way it's going to be. It doesn't have to be that way. We can actually identify a section of the cemetery, remove all the pavement, whether it's damaged or not, and put gravel.
Yeah.
So
May I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Just as a point of clarity that those might be listening, the bid that you did get showed various footage down each of the streets and the blocks where we would take out the bad asphalt and actually put in new asphalt.
No.
And from that,
No.
we've had a meeting, and now we're looking at the same distances, but we're considering this to be really the road gravel. Isn't that correct, LB? Instead of the asphalt. So we've kind of transitioned the conversation away from those original bids in the $29,000 range.
All right.
But I mean, I'm talking about the whole conversation is based on numbers of feet that we designated in the cemetery, and now we're talking about, and I love the idea about doing what you're saying, you know, just changing our thinking. I just want a little clarity for those that may not understand.
All right, the bids that were submitted, or the bid that was recent bid that was submitted, was not for putting back down more pavement. It was for taking up the pavement where the roads are terrible, digging down, removing what roots that they could, and then what you're going to do is when you take up the pavement, you're going to have a base level of gravel anyway, because that's what they put them on. So there'll be additional gravel added. Then in the future, if roots get in there, you separate the gravel, dig down, cut the root out, fill it back in with gravel.
Exactly.
And it self-repairs kind of.
Yeah.
So the thought was, rather than just doing it here and there and here and there as we need it, try to make it look more uniform. There's already gravel roads in almost every section of our cemetery anyway. Mm-hmm. Why not have a particular section, say this section here, all gravel now?
I like it.
I mean, so the bottom line is, I will get with Matt about this, give him the bids. The guy sent 2 more bids, considering different areas and so forth. And this is something that, with our revenue being what it is, I think what the best thing for us to do is just gather as much information as we can, really decide on what we want and what consequences we're going to create by making that decision, and then something that's hopefully this year, but maybe not. It just depends, because if we could do a really good project for $40,000 and we don't have it right now, maybe we should wait. Maybe we should kind of slow things down a little bit. Mm-hmm. We're not getting too many complaints about the road condition, even though it's bad in places.
But you know, LB, I really like this approach, because then it will really define these areas, and then it will give a target. Because earlier, you know, we talked about the people that are using the cemetery that may want to donate to the road project, and that this would show maybe the loop, and maybe those are the loop areas out in the sections where people really like to go and picnic and walk their dogs and walk themselves. I really like this approach personally.
Well, we might be able to come up with, like, flagging certain areas to be repaired, try to make it more giving the public more insight as to what we're talking about in road repairs. Mm-hmm. This might generate some more support. But anyway, at this point in time, I would say like Mr. Williams was going to be here tonight, but since Matt wasn't here, I didn't think that would be appropriate. And since we might have a different perspective about doing a whole area as opposed to just hit and miss. Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've got all the information here ready to transfer.
Super.
I don't want to. No.
Okay. And item number 2, I think we'll just postpone that till next month. The expansion project, pretty much we've had discussions, and it's very early stage, and it'll be something we'll all discuss with Matt, our senior project manager and fellow commissioner. The cremation service fees, LB, would you like to
All right,
address
now
that?
last meeting I gave you all a page, and I think you've got it in there. Here, and there was some concern about continuing the process of allowing people to dig their own cremation holes. Okay, let me give you an example. We recently had a member of the community pass away, and in their obituary it indicated that they were going to be placed in the Eureka Springs Cemetery. I drove by the other day, and the inscription, the updated inscription on the headstone is there. There's been no soil disturbed. Don't know exactly what's going on. Then a different point of information is that we had a service this past Saturday. People wanted to dig their own cremation hole. Went by there. They actually dug it much deeper than was required. There was 2 wheelbarrows full of dirt to fill in. You can drive by Block 48, it's right by the road there, and you can see they did a great job. They paid a registration fee so we can update that individual's records, give them an opportunity to write a narrative if they want to, which we would keep on file, and so on. If I'm in a situation where all of a sudden a loved one passes away, happen to have a plot, and I go to the funeral home and find out it's the expenses of having a casket burial as opposed to cremation, and then come to the cemetery and they want $100 or $75 to dig a hole that I'm quite capable of and could, in the process of digging that hole, some method toward my grieving, you know, that kind of thing. The individual burial plots are private property. We are trying to provide guidelines and rules and so forth to help with maintenance, to help with some structure out there and so forth. But I think we're somewhat overstepping ourselves when we start trying to find ways to, or not find ways, but when we limit the amount of empathy and the flexibility that we extend to people to do on their grave what they want to. So, I know this is not perfect in what I suggested, but it's something that I do encourage. Please consider allowing people to continue digging their own cremation hole. That's not an issue. It's not a problem.
It never has been. Yeah.
No. Because here's the thing. If you say no to me, I can't dig my own cremation hole, whether it has to do with the finances or not, I'll say, okay, what are my options? Exactly what people do that we don't want done. They come by and put the remains there anyway. Mm-hmm. Or they dig it off the clock, so to speak.
And then they don't
So I
register.
mean, if we continue to allow permission, we can make sure the hole gets dug properly, it gets filled properly. We know when and where. We're able to update our records. Or otherwise, we're just out of the loop. Because like there's been 2 others recently passed away, said they were going to be interned in the Eureka Springs Cemetery. Those 2 do not even own a plot in the cemetery. So that may be a future project for them. And it could be associated with the cost, which we have to, reverence and empathy toward people at a time when they've lost a loved one needs to be a priority.
LB, what I'd like to see, I really like this, and we probably all do. I would like to see this reworked, probably enumerated, and then at next month's meeting, finalize it and vote this straight into the rules and regulations.
Sounds good to me. The thing is this was just something, another offering, and it's something that we need to act on before long.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
put it in our internment packet.
Yeah. Is there a way we can expedite it by, like, voting on, this big pen just fell apart, like voting on this today to include it as it is, or perhaps we need more discussion and adopt it a month from now? I hate, going another month when this just looks pretty straight up.
If you approve what's submitted to you today, we can always make changes.
Pardon me?
If you approve what it has the criteria today, we can always make changes in the future.
Do you mind if I read into this record just a little bit?
Sure.
For the people. We have here cremation service charges. We want to adopt this into our rules and regulations. It starts by a paragraph about if a family or friend conducts this service by themselves, they still have to pay the $25 registration fee. We've got to keep our records current as to who's going into the cemetery, right? And it just talks about the whole must be checked prior to filling by the superintendent. That's, if they are going to dig it, and we've got the minimum sizes here. And then it talks about if the cemetery personnel, if we conduct it based upon the whole size, the price could be $75 to $125. The whole size is available. There are 3 listed, and we've got them here, and we've got the largest size possible. And we talk about a cremation plot here, 1 to 2 burials, and then in a cremation size plot, on a full-size burial plot, we can have 1 to 4 burials. This is all put in right here. And then we sum it up that the registration form is to include the price and cremation whole size. And the point is we would want to get this out to individuals, of course, in the packet and discussions when they purchase or inquire, and to funeral homes. I think I summarized that pretty well, and I would like to entertain a motion to approve this. It will enumerate this a little better and submit it into the packet. May I have a motion? It'll be just as it was written, just kind of enumerated, a little different for reference points.
I'm not really excited about it, but I'm a moot point at this juncture. But I'm not going to make a motion.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's fine. Yeah.
Well, I presented the process, so I would make a motion that the cremation service charges policy be adopted by the commission and implemented in a way where it's provided in the interment packet for information to the public.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? 3, okay, that's fine. All righty, let's move on. Thank you, LB.
Okay.
The water leak. Is there, I don't know if there's a resolution. We'll have a
All right, that's
discussion
the
here.
next thing. in
Tell
your-
them what's going on.
Well, there's really not that much going on. We thought we had a water leak.
Oh, good. Okay.
We do not have a water leak. If you'll look at these numbers, they're on the chart. There's no water leak.
Good.
I think there was a misread possibly
Okay.
that might have indicated that we had a water leak.
Yeah.
I think the meters, initially the meters weren't read with a decimal point. If you have, let's say, 1128.50, and the next one you have is 1156.50, well, the difference between 28 and 56 is quite 2,800. But when you put a decimal point in the last 2 places, it's only 28 gallons. So someone wasn't reading the meter correctly. So as you can see, here's the dates, the times, and the meter reading. There's one ambiguity down there on 515
I see that.
where it looked like, for instance, there was, again, that's probably a misread.
Yeah.
But there's not a water leak to my knowledge.
Yeah.
If there was any leak at all, it was, could have even been on the city's part of misreading the meter to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. And for those that might be curious, we had gotten a call from the city that appeared like we had a huge leak. So we started measuring things several weeks ago, and now we, thank God, realize there's not a huge leak. Okay, thank you, LB. And Ms. Brita, would you like to discuss the tour? And you
Well,
have some.
I think the tour is going really well. We've had 3 so far, 12 people present for the first one, 4 for the second, and 7 this last Saturday. One of the things that you might want to consider in the future is that somebody on Saturday showed up in a wheelchair, and I think it was very difficult to maneuver in some of the spots. So that can be a consideration for future tours. But I think it's going well, and I think it's got some legs, and it's going to be a good.
Very exciting.
Very good thing. I have donated my period costume to the cemetery to be used in the future. So that's there at the office. The other thing I want to say, excuse me, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of the commission. And I know my tenure is very short due to a really unexpected geographic move, but I have learned a lot, and I have really, I have lots of gratitude for the opportunity to make a contribution to the community with the things that I've done. I'm particularly excited about the tour. I think it's really exciting, and there's a great group of pretty passionate volunteers who seem to be fully invested in the project. I do want to make one quick note about Master Gardeners. Jennifer Boardman.
Well, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
I just want to personally thank you, and on behalf of the commission, because you have a lasting legacy at the City of Eureka Springs Historic Cemetery with your vision, right? You do. You say thank you. Don't,
Okay.
because she did.
Okay.
This tour, for those of you that may be watching and all of you out here, you need to come to the cemetery. This is every Saturday at 11 a.m. It's May, June, and July. $20. 21 or 22 stops now. It's so well worth it. And we're not competing with the voices. You know, we're talking at the cemetery, the icons, the details that are on each of the headstones and what some of the meanings are, and then talking about who may be related to who. It's fascinating. And it takes just an hour, a little over an hour, and it won't wear you out. It's near the front end, basically, of the cemetery.
Yeah.
But Brita, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was really a fun project, and it took a lot of people, and everybody worked hard. I'm glad it got off the ground.
Yeah, and I'd like to say this just from a treasurer's perspective. So far in all the advertising, the printing, and what we've done, and we've got things going out free through the chamber and other areas, free advertising. We have spent a little less than $1,500. We've had about 500 or so come in. And then the expenses that we do have, I've got the forms of just an hour or two ago where we will get reimbursed for a lot of that expense.
Well,
so
may I have a moment? I too would like to commend Brita for getting this thing going, and hopefully there'll be some loyalty to it by those that are involved in it now. Everyone involved in it, from my observation, are seemingly to have a good time, and they enjoy giving to the community and the cemetery. Do we need to get more of the brochures printed and more dispersal of those?
You
because
mean the rack cards?
Yeah,
Rack cards?
the rack
the rack cards, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you know, the sign that's on the fence, might get another one made just like it, to where we could put it on the opposite side of the road, and it would be more easily seen by the traffic going east and west. Make a triangle like we've got the one for Decoration Day in front of the sign.
I love that sign. Yeah.
Well, see, if we had another sign like the one we have that's on the fence, there by the road at the entrance, you know, once Decoration Day is over, we'll take that down and we can move it over there. So that might be a suggestion. The thing is getting the word out, because I don't know if we have any of those, what did you call them?
The rack cards?
The rack cards
Yeah.
at the Crescent Hotel. Sometimes a lot of people stay at the Crescent because of the spooks and all this kind of stuff, you know, and they might be interested in doing
I'll circle back there because I've gone by into the Ozarks and given them like 2 batches of cards, and I've got half an inch or a little more in my car now to do that.
Just do everything we can to promote it, and the more success we have this year, the more possibly it will generate and
Absolutely.
promote interest in the future.
Right. Just a couple more things I want to say. Jennifer Boardman from Master Naturalist is in the process of working with people to acquire bulbs for planting at the entrance of the cemetery for next spring.
Yeah.
And if I can, I just want to make one recommendation for the board's consideration. When a new person comes on, I think it would be wonderful if you would do an orientation with them, talking about board expectations. You all told me this was a working board and everybody has a role to play, and that's absolutely true. And if everyone doesn't participate, then the work of the board doesn't get done, and it creates an undue burden on those who are working. But I think it would be helpful for new people coming in to know what the expectations are and what the board is charged with. So I'll just leave you with that. You can think about that for the future.
Thank you.
That's all. Thanks. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bretta.
Yeah. Were those comments actually then about the bulbs out front part of what you wanted to say?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Were those comments
Yes,
about
sir.
the bulbs were part
Yep.
of the,
Yep.
okay, thank you, the Master Gardener project that we do have. Okay, I believe I have already covered this accounting issues, the budget. Let's just move on through. In other words, we're going to upgrade, point number 6, we're going to upgrade the QuickBooks to the next level, and we have everything that we need on the categories.
What are we summarizing for now?
Okay, up on number 6, well, because when we gave the treasurer's report a while ago, I went through all of those other action items, kind of out of order.
Okay.
Are we good? Okay, we're good. Let's move on to Decoration Day activities, LB, coming up.
Okay. Was an ad that appeared in this past week's paper about Decoration Day, which was inaccurate. It was similar to the one we had last year, and there aren't that many activities going on this year. So I called the newspaper. They did make some changes prior to putting that ad out, but some of it was left in. The ad won't appear in this week's paper. But the activities right now, from 9 to 3, we have a greeters table. This needs to be manned by commissioners and/or tour guides to make contact with visitors, provide information, cemetery maps, friends of the cemetery, so on.
I'll be there, yeah.
Okay. The greeters, it would be nice if we could have some of the historic tour guides there, or all of them in costume, so that they could possibly, because we're going to provide a meal for those that are providing performances for us. And we need to have some kind of sign up for that. From 10 to 11, we can possibly do a coin expedition quest tour, if there's anyone shows up to do it, to take it. Then from 11 to 12 is the historic tour. At 12 o'clock, the local VFW will provide an honor guard and play taps. And then shortly after that, the Horns of Northwest Arkansas will be playing patriotic music.
Pardon me, what was that?
Horns of Northwest Arkansas will be playing patriotic music. They'll be giving a performance. So the idea being that the head count that I have for the American Legion is about 6. I don't know exactly what the head count would be for the tour guides and commissioners that are going to be there. I'm speculating that the head count for the Horns group is about 20. So the idea would be they will provide a meal. I'm going to get some chicken strips and baked beans and potato salad and a soft drink / water. After the honor guards finish, they come down, after, and shortly around 12:20, 12:30, then the people that have been at the greetings table can come down and have their lunch. And then when the Horns is over with, they would come. So we're not talking about that many people being there at one time. Need some help inside with, I need another cooler, and I need a crock pot from somebody.
I just want to say I've spoken to the museum, and I believe they're going
Yeah, you need
to do
to
this.
follow up on that detail. Yeah,
Yeah, I've
Please.
personally spoken.
please.
But,
And
yeah, he indicated.
it would be nice if we had, David or somebody had the list of names for the tour guides and their contact numbers.
David has that.
You already have that?
Yeah, he has
Okay.
that.
I
'Cause
can-
it would-
I can send a note out.
Can you extend an invitation
I
to
will.
all of them to be there
I will do that.
if they wanted to? A short time, because we can use commissioners on the table up there for, everyone can take an hour or something, and between, and then they would also be there, and they're so impressive with their costumes, that would also maybe promote additional interest. We want to stop every car we can. If you want to give out more than what I suggested, like a small hand flag, we can still get those before Friday. Just think about it, of what it is that you might say, hey, how are y'all doing? Because people are already starting to decorate,
Yeah.
and give them an opportunity to kind of know what's going on. We might set the table where it's close to the road project sign. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just welcome them like you've done in the past, David, and people in the past have done a great job on that.
Yeah.
So,
Are we going to have ice water, bottled water out
Yes.
there or anything?
Yes.
Okay, you'll take care of that.
yeah, I'll get the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have the skirt for the table and
Don't worry about that.
okay,
Got it under
all
control.
that normal. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, I know it's on this list here.
Will there be a canopy? I need to let Jeff Danos know.
A what?
The 10 by 10 canopy thing that you'd have.
I don't. Just depending on the weather, I don't think so. I've got 3 tables on. I'm going to pick up. We're not going to have more. I'm hopefully 20 people at any one time eating.
When I'm at the canopy.
Oh, you mean the canopy
yeah,
for
the books?
Okay.
We're going to have books.
You want the canopy at the table as well?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
just-
problem.
Yeah.
Canopy at table. Okay. Anything else? We'll put that table up probably Thursday, and we've got a decorative table thing to go around the front of
That's
it.
same as before.
Yeah.
I'll let Jeff know that we'll be out there, have set up by 9 o'clock.
On Friday, yeah.
and-
Now, in conjunction with this, on the Friday before, we have the 4-H activity. And they're going to relocate the conduits and the flags at the veterans' graves. They're all going to be placed, as you look at the inscripted side of the headstone, to the right side, no more than 4 inches from the headstone, and right on the front corner. If it's a double headstone and there's 2 veterans, they'll be allowed to have a flag for each one. If it's just one veteran, one flag. We're no longer going to allow them to put a flag down by the veterans' metal footstone because it's hard to mow. If we have one at the headstone, that should take care of it.
Good.
If someone has a headstone in such that the veteran is on the left-hand side as you look at it and not the right-hand side, which that's going to be the case, we'll try to make that adjustment as well.
Yeah.
But the 4-H is coming out to help us do that, and we're going to feed them hot dogs. There's going to be about 32. I'm planning on 32 people, children, adults, and the employees are going to help them also with it to get as many.
Plan on 40.
Huh?
Plan on 40.
Over 32, see, that's 4 packages of buns.
Well, then get another. I appreciate that.
All right, so we're looking
What time is that Thursday evening?
on the 23rd, Friday,
Friday.
Oh, that's
from-
Friday.
from 10:30 to 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
So they
if
get
you want to be
lunch
there and do a little patriotic speech, it would be nice.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday morning.
Friday
They'll
morning,
show up at
10:30 to 12.
Well, then you got to add another hot dog, make it 33.
I think I got you included.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
If that's okay, we'll
Thank
go with
you.
that.
10:30.
Friday morning,
Yeah, that's the 4-H.
The 4-H kids coming out.
count me up, I'm gonna work.
Yeah. Do you have an estimate on how many veterans of the 4,500 plus?
We've got
burials?
about 535 identified so far. Now, I suggest there probably are maybe some more. But one of the things that, about that, that's what we got about
That's
right now.
10% of the burials
Yes.
in that cemetery are veterans. That's incredible.
And there could be even a larger percentage of the unknown graves.
Thank you. Does that conclude?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Additional signage, LB, you want to continue on that?
Okay.
Oh, yes, we'll pause for just a moment. Avery's got,
On your last order of business there, what, for the 23rd, is that the decoration day?
No, the 23rd of May is the 4-H activity day. The
Okay.
24th, the Saturday of Memorial Weekend,
24th
is decoration.
is
day.
when you're going to have the brass band,
Yes,
the horns and everything.
yes.
I, as a local musician and as someone born on the 4th of July, would like to donate some of my time to sing the national anthem if you guys would have me.
oh my gosh.
Very nice.
If you're interested. If it doesn't
well,
work out scheduling and stuff, no problem. But
The,
Sing with the
wanted to-
horns?
I will, you would need to be there then about 11:45.
no
And
problem.
we'll work it in between raising the flag, the fire, the firing, and then also the taps. We'll work it. I'll ask Tom how he wants to work it in.
Sounds great.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Avery.
What is your name, sir, again?
Avery Waltz, W-A-L-T-Z.
Aberly?
Avery
Avery, A-V-E-R-Y.
Waltz.
Avery.
Like label.
Watts?
Avery
W-A-L-T-Z.
Waltz.
A-L-T-Z. Waltzing too, okay. What did I just now do? That's that.
Additional signage.
That's all the decoration day stuff right there. Please, God, help me keep this organized.
We haven't done it yet.
Okay, that next topic about additional signage. You have a sheet in there. I went through the other day and just jotted this down. This is something that needs to be relayed to the project manager and let him go through, or anyone, all of you all, and see if you can find more places or eliminate some of these places. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I went through and as has additional posts / signs. Block 49, add Friedheim Street sign. Hollow Nacosta, add Bridget Avenue sign, and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is. When Matt gets back in town,
Good.
I left a packet of all this information in his mailbox.
Yeah.
So he can, and y'all, and whoever,
Yeah. So what we're referring to here is the additional signage. If you have not been to the cemetery, please come out. We've just concluded a sign project where these are, where they 6x6 signs, they match the park signs in town. It's a wonderful beautification project, and it'll get you to the blocks, in the streets, in the cemetery, and going with the map or directions that you need. It's just beautiful, and if you'd like to make additional donations to that project, we'll definitely accept your funding. Thank you, LB.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll move on now to new business. We've got, it's 5:22. We've got about 40 minutes.
Okay, on this, okay, the first one, social issue standards. Okay. We have a situation where the commission decided that we were going to put,
Speak in.
we were going to put up and recognize our veterans year-round. So we're doing that with a 12 by 18 flag. My thought was, well, there might be some other social entities in the overall matrix of our society that would like to also be recognized. And so I think it would behoove us to get ahead of the game a little bit and provide a little guidelines for these. Because we want everyone to feel free to express themselves. But we don't want to go through the cemetery with huge billboards or huge plaques or huge anything that takes away from the serenity of the cemetery trying to promote some social issue. So what this is just thinking out loud a little bit. I did this probably 2 weeks ago. I haven't looked back over it again. We need as much input as we can possibly get. Nothing needs to be, just trying to provide some direction as to how we think of the most appropriate way for our cemetery and the most, I'm lost for words. So what it is here, I've got here, recognition of any social issue on a designated burial plot must conform to the commission-sponsored flag program. So I have there listed the flag program as I understand it. Burial site recognition policy. This is on a single burial site. And you can kind of read there, the expectation is the subject is to be recognized. In other words, if someone wanted to put a flag up for animal husbandry, they were really into helping lost animals and so forth or whatever, they'd be welcome to do so, 12 by 18. It could be anything. Now, I'm not trying to open up Pandora's box here, but what I am trying to do is provide some structure for future inquiries or requests. That's all.
Yeah, I like this. I'd like to look into maybe similar policies we may have going on around Fayetteville, Rogers,
right?
Maybe some of the IOOF, or to draw on Little Rock has got that big cemetery on, and we drew on 2 or 3 other cemeteries when we revised 2 years ago our latest rules and regulations. So yeah, I'd like to see this go from new to advance this, to keep working on it as unfinished business.
I think one of the things that you might want to, as you research this and refine it, I think your suggestion is great about talking with other cemeteries to see what they've done. You might want to check with the city attorney because this is a free speech issue. And it can go either way. Mm-hmm. It can be a box of worms, or it can be a gracious way to let people know they're free to express their beliefs. Yeah. But I think doing some homework and finding out what other public entities have done is a really good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
I do too. This is just to initiate some discussion.
Sure.
I'll entertain a motion to move this into active.
Who's going to
unfinished
Who's
business?
going to research this? Who would like to make, someone needs to be designated to
Sorry, I'm leaving.
carry the torch about contacting the city attorney with,
I'll do that.
all right, so you'll maybe come up with additional input for
Yeah.
next meeting, and
Yeah.
then we can go from there.
I have a file, and maybe I've transferred it already to the cemetery office. When we looked 2 years ago at free speech issues with respect to purpose of a cemetery under our founding, the commission, was it number 1031, I believe, that established the cemetery. And so we'll frame it within a legal framework, staying focused on the purpose of a cemetery to give people as much freedom as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
We don't want to infringe on anyone's rights.
Yeah. Okey doke. Do we need
Carnal, please.
a motion to move this into unfinished business?
I'd like to make a motion that we continue to pursue this policy and get additional information, do some research,
I'll
see
second.
what we can come up with.
Yeah, okay. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And I'll contact Mr. Jacoby. Okay, now look, number 2, I've got on here the possibility to move next month's meeting to June the 23rd, and that's pure selfish. I don't want to miss next month's meeting, but the third Monday of June, I'm going to be in Texas for that whole week. And we can entertain this. We don't have to vote right now, but
What do you think, Retha? It's fine with me.
okay. All right, I'll take
I'd like to make a motion, we move set our meeting date for June to be June 23rd at 4 o'clock.
Second.
I'll second
All right, all in favor? Aye, aye. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I've got the City Safety Issues Program, LB, if you'd like to.
Okay. I guess every department except ours has someone paid to do this safety program.
Speak
I guess everyone all the other commissions have people that are paid to process this new safety program. This is what I turned in for this month. It has to do with safety training attendance. There's safety program recording component, safety inspections, and so on. We are in compliance now, but it takes some time. And so we have a safety protocols and project parameters that I discuss with the employees every once in a while. So what I did was I took some of those and put those as 514 safety meeting, okay? I'll take some more of those and incorporate those as the next safety meeting and so on. But when I mentioned this to someone, they said, well, give it to so-and-so to do. Our employees are busy. They have all they can do. Our office manager, our groundskeepers. And so as long as I can, which may be a limited amount of time, I'm going to try to make sure that we comply in every way possible. And if we're out of compliance, then the individual in charge of the safety program can contact me, and we will get right. Rather than going, huh?
Do you have handouts on that?
I don't, because look at all this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I tell you what I'll do is I will.
Do you have that electronically? You can just email it to us. We don't need to run a bunch of. Who at City Hall is in charge of the?
It's let's see.
They should come out and give us an hour program or something.
Well, the individual's in charge of it as part of the fire department. He's been designated as a safety coordinator for the city.
Okay.
I've gotten some emails from him. I'm not going to look them up. Anyway, it's a hassle. But we're up to speed, and if I have any more problems with it, I'll let you know. And I'll try to get some of this information in your mailboxes or something if I
Okay,
live
well,
that long.
then how about we just entertain a motion to advance this in unfinished business and schedule then a meeting with, or a presentation with the gentleman from the fire department to kind of kick it off?
Well, I mean, then let's just invite him for the 23rd.
I'd like that a lot.
See if he can, I'd like to make a motion that we invite the coordinator for the city's safety program to attend our 23rd of June meeting.
Second that, anybody?
I'll second that.
Okay,
motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Good. Okay.
good. Safety first.
What is his name? Hell, I don't want to know.
You got
Oh, and the other thing too is I've got contacted about, someone came out and appraised our building supposedly, our office building. And the office was the only thing that was listed under the cemetery to be appraised. Well, we have a workshop. Then I got another email that they want to know what the value of the contents of the office would be. Don't necessarily need to have an itemization, but they want to know the value. I responded by telling them I think we have around $3,000 worth of equipment in the office, tables, refrigerator, computer, so on, and that the office building is about $57,000. However, the workshop has probably $40,000 to $45,000 in equipment and tools and so forth, and to replace that building would probably be another $40,000.
yeah.
Now, she didn't ask for those, and I think she's going to follow up and find out for me if I need to include those. So there's stuff going on, and they need to, I wish they could contact our chairman and or myself when they're going to be on premise to do these things.
Exactly.
A little more direct communication rather than just emails. I'm sorry, some days I don't look at my phone.
I don't either. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need to discuss this with the city clerk, Ida? Would you like me to mention something to her?
Well, the names I've been talking with Miss Tara, who's been
Okay, Tara's great.
very,
Yep,
very
okay,
helpful.
okay.
And she, I think, was in conversation with Michael. I think some of this is coming from Michael. In other words, they want to say like if a tornado hits the cemetery, they want to have a value
Yes.
for replacement and rebuilding. I don't know if any of us or if the city has anyone that can actually appraise something or not, but I know we've got about $57,000 in that building, and that may also include equipment, but it's, you know, and we couldn't replace it for 57 today.
No.
That's
We
why,
don't
you know,
wanna
on
be
your insurance on
exposed.
your house, it's always more than what
That's right.
what it cost you, or you know what I mean.
Okay. Let me put a period on things right now and back up because I skipped one. Well, we debated earlier the encroachment, you know, on the other property. We had it really new, but I said it was old business. Let's talk about that right now.
Just, I need you to go out there with me.
Okay.
I don't want to go by myself.
Yeah.
I need someone to go out there with me, and you know where that property flag
We'll do it
was.
again. You and I spoke to
appears-
them last year.
It appears to me that they built a shed over those two containers and have not moved the containers, but they now have a shed over them.
Oh, yeah. When do you and I want to do that? Tomorrow? I'm in. Whatever you want, whenever you want to go, I'll go.
At your convenience, so that we can revisit, okay?
Let's late morning.
That'll be fine.
Okay. All right. So the note on that would be late. Well, LB and David will go speak to those landowners for the second time.
If they're there, we'll leave a note if they're not.
Yeah, well, yeah. We were assured that that was going to be taken care of shortly thereafter. With the landowners, both of them came out, and the next time we go out there, I really think, let's go do a look, and then I can call Forrest Jacoby, then I can take the police officer out there if it's appropriate. then we can knock on the door.
I'm not saying that the encroachment exists, but it doesn't, because I'm not sure, I couldn't find the flag, the tape. And that's why I need your help.
Okay, yeah.
In trying to locate
We'll
that.
get it.
There may not be any encroachment, but I noticed the shed was built there, so we need to address it.
Yeah, they were definitely encroaching, and I remember where that was. Okay, thank you. All right, now let's go back into the new business. I have the issue of a porta potty, LB.
Okay. At the funeral Saturday, someone came up to me and said, "Now, are the restrooms available down there in the office? If we need to use the restroom?" I'm not trying to be facetious. Of course, if the office is open, we would entertain that. So how about this? How about we talk to Steve Septic, see if he can fix us up with a porta potty that could be, had a lever mechanism or something where it could be raised up on wheels and could be towed from one location to the other by our groundskeepers. And we just keep a porta potty out there for day use people. If there's going to be a funeral, we would relocate it near the funeral. Would that not be accommodating to some folks?
It would be.
What I can
There
do,
would
I
be
can check the meeting minutes from last year because we did talk about this. I contacted Steve because we discussed about putting a porta potty way in that back circle area past block 23.
Well, on a daily basis, we just locate it centrally located in the cemetery. But whenever they have a funeral, we could relocate that nearer the funeral.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't mean hide it. I just meant make it known, but it was in the back area for people that couldn't access it. But yeah, we can investigate where do we think a central area, could be for use. But Steve did tell us at the time it was going to be a standard rate because he will come out there. I forget, I'll check with him again. He's a personal friend also, which has nothing to do with doing business. We've been doing business with Steve way before I came on his commission. But he said that the monthly rate, they go out there and wash and clean these things, whether anybody's used them or not, because they keep their porta potties clean. Not relying upon us to say, come clean.
What I'm suggesting is that we purchase one. And he help us purchase our own, and then it be set up in some way where we can tow it around. And then what we can do is more than likely, I'm hoping, that about the same time he has to come in about 4 times a year to do the holding tank, he could check the porta potty. And we wouldn't be paying a monthly fee. Just the possibility that we could work it out that way.
I like it. Yeah.
You would have to, though, add an additional duty to the groundskeepers. It would have to be checked daily. We had a porta potty during Voices, and I will tell you, it was vile. And there was nobody cleaning it just for those weekend events.
see it.
Because I cleaned it once.
Yeesh.
I mean, it was vile. So you'll have to make sure that the groundkeepers add that to their responsibilities and check it daily.
And okay,
Let's do
that's a
this.
good thought. That's
Yeah.
a good thought. People are messy, and some people wouldn't appreciate what we're providing. So that needs to be factored in there, and it may be that
Was
we
that
would- we
vial
would
with
want
a
a
capital
monthly-
V?
I beg your pardon?
Was that vial with a capital V?
VI, they were all capitals.
All caps. So I would entertain a motion to move this thing on into unfinished business. I'll contact Steve about purchase and or rentals. And then LB, you want to follow up with maybe a location for it during the week? Or,
we just put it somewhere in the center of the cemetery.
yeah. And then I'll ask Steve, or we get permission to tow it around ourselves based upon need.
Well, if there was some kind of mechanism that it could be lifted up on wheels,
Yeah.
and a little tow thing, then I don't
Tilt it.
know if that's possible. I would like to make a motion that you secure additional information from Steve Septic about the opportunity to provide a porta potty and as much information as you can get for it.
Good. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Thank you. And number 5 here, or
6.
the sale of individual cremation vaults, LB?
Just real simple. This is just a thought. If we had cremains vaults of different sizes, then the individual we could dig the hole, the vault would be put down there. The top of the vault could either be an inscription surface or not. Get different prices for it. That eliminates a whole lot of, it might be a source of income for us. Mm-hmm. Remember, we had one time had great plans about having a cremation garden, and that's so expensive. But if we were to sell these vaults, then you could have one for a single size and one for 2 people to be placed in it. Mm-hmm. It could also be their headstone or not. Mm-hmm. And just, we had different prices, I think, already in the past. Just something to consider that we might use as a way of additional income.
I'd like to entertain a motion that we explore these different sizes and things. Let's just say, beginning with our 2 people that we're using now, Berryville and Alpena, and just see what we can get and explore this. I like it.
Okay, well, I'd like to make a motion that we look back at these, the possibility of providing for sale cremation vaults. And furthermore, I'll take on that responsibility about getting information from 2 of the local monument people.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Thank you. That concludes everything that we've had. We have loose ends, of course, needing volunteers, more volunteers, people to help us. Decoration Day, we'd like people to, become involved. More of you all come out and visit us in our commission meetings. As long as some of them might be, you can leave whenever you want to, as some already have done. What? Any other comments on those loose ends, LB?
No, sir.
Brita? Yeah. Do you have anything, Ratha? Okay. And any announcements? Of course, we always have the commemorative coins available. They're really, really nice. We can. You've taken a lot of meetings. All right. We've taken some good meeting minutes here. I've kind of had one eye out, so we will not review these if that's all right with you all. I think everything's been captured here. Ratha did a great job last month as well. So to set the agenda it said June 16th meeting. Now it's going to be the 23rd. I'll get back in touch with everybody the week prior to add items. And I want to just thank Brita again for being on our commission and serving faithfully the way you have. And we really, I know, appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. I know I do.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, I really, really do. And so I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Woohoo! Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Boom.